Hello everyone. So our webinar now is with Chris Morris. So I met Chris when I first started doing some work experience, first with Fashion Fiesta. And then after I kind of did Fashion Fiesta, I then started doing some work experience for Shoe. And, you know, obviously Chris is one of the co-founders of Shoe with Rachel. He's also one of the masterminds, along with Rachel again, of Digital U. So we're going to have a webinar, and then at the end we're going to have a question and answer session. So feel free in the chat or in the question and answer portion of Zoom, pop your questions, and we'll go through them at the end. And Chris, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, but about Shoe and what you're going to be talking about today?
Excellent. Hopefully the sound carries. I thought I'd do something a little bit differently. I thought I'd go back to my roots as teacher and do a little bit of teaching today. My name is Chris Morris. For those that don't know me, I am the co-founder, like Tilly just said, of Shoe Social Media. And I suppose a little bit about me. I really believe and I'm passionate about challenging what's possible, whether it's in business or in personal life. One of the things we really enjoy doing, or I particularly really enjoy doing, is being innovative, doing things differently, and putting ourselves out there in fun and different ways. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and how to actually implement that and build that into your business. So got your title up there. So it's all about how can you put together a plan to generate leads and business opportunities in your business during this pandemic, because the opportunities are everywhere. Like Richard Branson said, opportunities are just around the corner, another one will always come, like okay. That's a little bit about me. I'll just crack on, Tilly, if that works for you. Cool. Okay, so what I would like you to do, please, because we're going back to school, I would really like you to get a piece of paper. If not, maybe get the ebook, page 35 and 36, I think it is, 36, 37. Get a piece of paper, notebook will do, and I'd like you to map out, I know it's not very clear at the moment, I'd like you to draw, first thing to draw on your piece of paper will be a tree, please. Best drawing of a tree. I know it's not the greatest tree, not an artist, but I've had a go. I'll just quickly go back over it. So, your tree could look like this. Best artist impression of a tree. Don't forget the leaves. It's a great tree. That looks like an amazing tree to me. Okay. So the reason why I'm getting you drawing a tree is because everything we do within social media over the last 6 years is to actually have a strategic approach to getting results through social media. The way we've developed our strategies are with 3 key concepts in mind called the IntelliSocial system. The tree links to the shoe tree, and it actually gives us good context to bring context to life. In a tree, in the life cycle of a tree, you need to do a lot of work to help it to grow. Your business grow, we need to put and have the right kind of content in the tree so we grow. The content is part of the system. The branches, if you like, they are the technical side of social media. So that's understanding the algorithm, the pixel, which Rachel talked about this morning, how to get the most out of hashtags, the best platforms, the best times, that kind of stuff. And then the leaves, if you like, they are, so that's technical. And then the leaves are intelligence. More specifically, data intelligence, which Stuart from Deacon's going to talk about at 5 o'clock. So, well, you can't see that, but just to recap, we've got a tree. As part of the tree in the process system, we need content in to make the whole thing work. We need to understand the platforms, the technical side of social media, in particular Facebook and Instagram, and we need to do something with that data to make sense of it so we can improve our campaigns. With me so far? Okay, that takes us on to the next bit. I'd like you to write shoe, S-H-O-O, down the middle, S-H-O-O. S stands for shape. We need to be able to shape the perfect strategy. So today I'm going to show you a couple of things you can take away to actually implement in terms of Facebook and Instagram ads. Have a strategy created for your business. You then need to hone in on the right platforms. Obviously today is quite simple. We're focusing on Facebook, Instagram, Did you know Facebook owns actually WhatsApp, Messenger, and as it expands onto its adverts onto a wide audience network as well. So it's not just Facebook and Instagram when you're advertising, it's those places as well. So we need to be able to find those. Then we need to observe, oops, wrong one, outreach. Outreach is the next bit. We need to then create the ads, put them in the right platforms, and then we need to find the right people. So it's our audience. We need to understand who we're trying to market to, who our content is going to be seen by. That's what we need to do. Whether it's influencers, whether it's customers, prospects. In this case, it's lead gen, so it's going to be about getting the right people, the right actions. Then the bit I started writing the wrong box. Observe. We need a way of measuring and observing the actual adverts. Are they working well? How do we know they're working well? What's good, what's bad, what do we need to improve? All that stuff. So we need to observe. Nice little acronym for you, probably picked up on that. Okay, now, one of the things I always get asked is, well, I can just boost a post on Facebook. Great. That's not the best use of your money. That's not the best use of the advertising currency you've got, the algorithm behind Facebook. What you really need to set up is the pixel after you've set up the business manager and your ad account. Now, why do you need a business manager? It allows you to do so much more with the algorithm, make your pounds go further, optimize the data, do all of this behind the scenes to show your adverts to the right people at the right time. In the business manager, once you've set that up, you can, which Rachel's webinar on how to do that will allow you to set up tracking, allows you to observe. Now, the tracking within Facebook is brilliant. If you've got a website, you can go so far as to track specific buttons on a landing page, user behavior, perhaps they're adding to cart, perhaps they're hitting a contact us form, not actually submitting. You can measure the whole customer journey from an advertisement through to the website, Shopify, or wherever you're sending the traffic, right the way through to the actual call to action, what the behavior you want them to do at the end. So you need a business manager, definitely, so you can make best use of your Facebook ads. And the pixel will help you bring that data to life and make it. Okay, now, before we start building down here into the three faded boxes on my screen, which I'll redraw in a second, we need a little bit of bigger picture theory, if you like. Now, when you're creating your strategy for your business, you really need to consider the AIDAR model. A-I-D-A-R. A for awareness, I for interest, D for desire, A for action, and R for retention. Okay, so awareness. They need to be aware that you're in business. Customers need to be aware of what you're doing. They need to then take an interest. They need to desire, they need to want your product or service. They then need to take action by, and usually, or get in touch, make a booking. And then the most important bit, which every single business owner knows, retention is key to any business to grow. Great, you've got a customer in. Most people put all their attentions into keeping a customer, getting a customer. Very few look at ways of retaining them. Now, Facebook and Instagram will allow you to do that as well. I'll map that out in a second down here. But yeah, the R is massively important, and you can do really well with Facebook. You might not think, well, I don't need any more leads. I've already got customers, fine. But how do you keep talking to those customers without disrupting them? Facebook ads are a way of disruptive marketing, but if you do the ads in the right way, non-salesy, you can really engage and draw on your audience actually to become brand ambassadors, to give you the referral, to talk to others, to leave you the review. That's the goal of the ad. How do we get them to do that? Okay, so taking that model, the AIDAR model, we then, when we're building a campaign, please see the chat, by the way, for the Facebook ads checklist we've got. Now, when we've done the AIDAR model, we sit down and we think, well, what do we actually need to put? Turn on this area, that's great, I understand all of that. How do I turn that into something that makes sense? How do I turn that into a strategy that's going to be for my business, whether it's B2C, B2B, business to person, however your business is set up? Facebook, that's one of the questions I always get asked about. Does it work? Absolutely. So I'm going to show you how we can turn this awareness into desire action and retention into campaign-led strategy in Facebook ads down here. Okay, so first thing we need to consider is TOF, right now, top of the funnel. That encapsulates the A and the I in the ADA model. So we need to create our campaign and our content, set it up in our business manager to actually show the ads to the right audience. Typically, it's going to be a cold audience at the top of the funnel. The guys that you're showing adverts to, your target audience, the aim is to actually get them into the funnel. They've not seen your brand before. Perhaps you're a car dealer, perhaps you're a florist, perhaps you're an accountant. They've not seen your business or brand or company before, B2B or B2C, it doesn't matter. They've not seen you, they need to be aware of you. Before they've not seen you, they need to be aware. So types of content that works really well in there are videos. Videos are fantastic on Instagram and Facebook at the moment. If you can get videos, typically at the top, explainer type videos work really well, showing what could be done, what could be achieved, getting into customers' pain point, if you're thinking business to business, trying to talk to the customer and engage them, get them to have a conversation with you. You're not selling. The biggest thing I see at this point is people simply put an advert on Facebook, click the boost point, and then it's 50% off, put now. Useless. Send that to a cold traffic, they're not going to take any action. So we need to be very considered. The content needs to draw people into the funnel. Now, the second part, MOF, middle of the funnel. Now, this is where it starts to get the engagement and we start to get the customer to actually take action. They're starting to browse the website, they're starting to take the download, they're starting to think about making an inquiry, they're looking at the reviews, they're talking on your Facebook page, they're sharing your content in your posts. Now, with the ads, what's commonly useful at this point, I'll show this in a second, is to set up a retargeting campaign based off these people in here. A little bit more. But yeah, middle of the funnel is all about trying to re-engage and encourage customers to keep in touch with your brand. Then we need to move them through this process to the bottom of the funnel where they actually take an action, whether it's service, customer-led, however they're going to engage with you, buying the shoes, buying the holiday, booking the sales meeting, booking the call. That's how we do it. That's the structure. Now, great, that's all getting all theory, but how do we turn that into something? So the next thing I'd like to draw, please, is 4 rectangles, squares if you prefer, doesn't really matter. So as long as you can kind of annotate and draw. Interestingly enough, I was on the webinar at 2 o'clock and Mike, the graphic designer, was talking all about illustration, and he said that 63–64% of people will actually retain information if they draw it, as opposed to normally what happens in a presentation, you've got a death by PowerPoint and you're only about 10%. So please do draw. This is the important bit. Okay, I'll tackle a B2C first, and then I'll show you how you can do this with B2B. So if I'm a B2C, so imagine I am, I don't know, actually I'm thinking of a new client. So we've got a florist, great, the traditional florist on the high street like we are here. They had football, always sold flowers, last 30 years, the traditional way of people coming in. As you know, Corona has hit, not very good, so they cannot sell their flowers. Now, the challenge there is, great, we're aware of the problem, we're interested in doing something because we've got bills to pay. What we're going to do about it? Well, we're going to pivot, hate the word pivot, but it makes sense. We're going to change our business model to encapsulate this change of time. We're going to sell less flowers. We can do that. We can set up a website in here. So, website. Set up a website, fantastic. How do we get people to the website? Well, we need to set up in different levels. We need to set, like I said, top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. We need to get campaigns set up in 3 levels of campaign. In the business manager, you've got 3 levels to setting something up. You've got the campaign, not something you've got to the advertisement. You can, at the campaign level, set the objective. In this case, it's about getting the customer to the website. I want them to come onto the website so they can browse, they can shop, they can research, they can have a look at flowers. So that's the action I want you to do. So at the top level of the campaign, I can set that objective in there. So it could be using video to get video views, it could be traffic to the website, it could be a simple brand awareness or reach campaign. But that's what we want to do. We want to set up the campaign to get them to the website. Fantastic. Now, in the second level, once you set your objective, you've got the ad set, what's known as the ad set. The ad set allows you to test different things, different variables. You can your placement. So if you wanted to run a test of, well, actually, I think my customers are really going to be on Instagram, not really going to be on Facebook because it's older generation there, want a young audience, not really worried about that. You can run a test. Always recommend testing, absolutely, because you can then test placement of Instagram stories, Facebook feeds, stories, you can do audience network, messenger. I think there are around 15 different things you can choose from. Massively important. Do testing, test the different variables and see what actually works. See what data intelligence you can get. You might think Instagram's full of your customers, but in reality, it might be Facebook feed, newsfeed that gets you most people to your website. Do the test. Oops. Ongoing, excellent. Okay, middle of the funnel is where it starts to get a little interesting. Oh, we've got the cold traffic flowing in, we've got them to the website, the florists, they're having a look around. They might not be ready to buy, they're just browsing, they're looking into Flora, they're looking at all the other florists in the area. They're not ready to buy, they're not quite sold, they've just come out onto the market to do their research and okay?
Yes,
cool. Excellent sales call, fantastic. Middle of the funnel. What's my train of thought? Okay, so we've got the cold traffic to the website, fantastic. But what we really want them to do is to get them back to the website. We want to re-engage the because they might not be ready to buy there and then, but they're still clearly got some intent or interest in the product or service, in this case flowers. So what we would set, I think you've seen your ebook, I mapped the funnel out, you can set what's known as a retargeting campaign. I'll put RT in there just for simplisticness. Retargeting campaign where we can create content, you can create content, video works really well, social proof, testimonials, reviews works really well at this point to tell them, well actually not for you to tell them, for your customers to tell the person who's just discovered your florist or brand to get them back to the website. Makes sense. So top person comes into the funnel, seen the first ad, fantastic. A couple of days later, you can set the frequency so you're not appearing too spammy. So just between 2 and 3 is good frequency. Set the cap any higher than that, and it's just going to feel like spam. You're going to get reported. It's going to cost you money. But yeah, retarget to those website visitors. Now that's fine. Imagine I've got a third step in my chain. So I might have a sales page or a product page here. So they visit the page, they've been retargeted a couple of days later on Facebook, Instagram, and do lots of testing. Good. Now they're still not, they might not have bought. They've added to cart in here. You know, we've all done it. We're all looking for a pair of shoes or we're buying something online. We add to cart, we get bored, we get switched off. We don't actually buy there and then. So what we can do actually is target those people who have got to this point, level of interest. We can retarget them with another advert. So that's where the bottom comes in. So we hit them with a third and final ad at the bottom of the funnel. We know they've got some level of intent. They might watch the first video at the top. They've seen, they've browsed on the website, they've come back to the website, they've started to order the flowers, they've added to the cart, but they've not actually purchased. It's not very good, but what we can do with the third and bottom of the funnel ad is to get them back in, to get the sale. We'll naturally get sales anyway coming from the top, but what you really want is to use this data intelligence to build up a picture of your ideal customer. Or a very crude person, man, woman, whatever, unicorn or otherwise. Draw this person in here. Your customer is built within Facebook using all this data. one of the cool things you can do once you've got people flowing through the system is build what's known as a lookalike audience. Acronyms of, there's no set acronym for this. It can be LAL or it can be lookalike audience, whatever acronym you want. But essentially, the same thing. The lookalike audience is where you tell Facebook to pick these points and go and find more of those customers who are actually looking to buy your product. So build your lookalike audiences. Tell Facebook to improve and find more of these people ready to buy. So yeah, step 1, get them in cold, train your pixel. Step 2, do the retargeting to get them back in and build and train further. And then step 3, build a lookalike and custom audiences, lookalike audience, to go and find more people ready to do the action. Hopefully that makes sense. Whistle stop talk. Yeah, custom audiences are quite useful if you've got GDPR compliant data sets, typically in a CSV file. If you've got emails that are pre-approved to market to, you can upload your email list into the back end of Facebook as a custom audience and then tell Facebook to go and add to them. Fantastic. If you're looking at the retention, you might have a database of 2,000 customers. Great. You can keep in touch with them every 3 months, 6 months, or whenever your buying cycle is. That's pretty much that it. B2B, slightly different, same sort of theory, same practice, same setup. Now, B2B, slightly different offering. You've usually got to do the work a little bit harder on Facebook to get that customer, to get that lead, to get that business opportunity. This is where things, you've probably heard the term called lead magnets comes into play. You've got a really strong lead magnet, which is typically something you exchange, like I'm still in the chat there to be fair, something like the ads checklist and guide. People would typically go to the website and exchange their email address and phone number, full name, sometimes not phone number, but they would actually go from a Facebook ad, click the ad because it's something of interest to them, download the checklist, they've got something of value, you get their email address, then you can market to them further because they visited your website, but you've also then can other systems like your email marketing as well. If you're interested in looking at actual data itself and what key, I'll talk about the key metrics in a second. If you look at the ROI calculator, well done, Walt, thank you. I can see she's put that in the chat. She knows where I'm going with this. So the ROI calculator on our website, which we build, I'm thinking, well, what does look like? What will it work for me? Have a look at that link while you sat there. It gives you your industry, it gives you a model to work with. But in its crudest form, what it allows you to do is work out return on investment. You're going to spend a significant amount of resource, which is in building this system, whether it's time, whether it's outsourcing, whether it's content creation, whether it's understanding data, whether it's installing Pixel, upgrading the website, making this whole process work. You're going to spend a lot of resource. So let's call that X. So X is your resource. It could be anything, like I just said. Now, what you need to be able to do, which is where Beacon comes in really well, Google Analytics, even the analytics in Facebook Business Manager and the Pixel is useful to measure those and observe those stats every week and every month and then every quarter. If you do that, you can then inform your strategy, improve your audience, improve this whole system. Now, key performance indicators usually, I'll boil them down into the main ones for me. There are 30, 40 plus you can choose from, but that's just too much for a business owner. You want a dashboard of key stuff to look out for, what is working. So when we build a lead generation, how many leads? Nice. How many leads work? Now, leads there. There. Nice drawing. You can draw better than this. So we're going to spend X. We're going to get a load of activity through the advertisement. We're going to set up all this campaign. We're going to flow traffic through, do the retargeting, all that investment, call that X. Fantastic. That's going to generate engagement. That's going to generate likes. It's going to generate followers. It's going to generate reach. It's going to generate impressions. I call all that vanity stats because me, who cares? I don't really care that I've got 100,000 followers unless they're all buying. Unless they're all actively engaged and they're buying my product or service, I'm not bothered. You can measure it for all I care, Does it make a difference? Not really. So you might track your likes, but ultimately, what do you want to achieve? I want some leads. That's what we're talking about. I want leads. I want through the door. I want people, ready to buy my flowers. I want people booking strategy calls with me. I want people to download my checklist. I want leads. Now, once you've tracked all that, in Facebook, you want the most important metric really is going to be your conversion rate. What is the quality of the leads looking like? So you're going to need to measure CBR, conversion rate. So how many of those leads convert? You're going to have to measure things like the flow. Hopefully you can see in the ebook, I've mapped out a model of barbecue business I made up. So the flow, you can see at each point, there's a percentage of the customer's journey. So if we've got, say, for example, 1,000 people that have seen an ad on Facebook, top, 100 have actually landed on there. Landing page views are important on the sales page. Then only maybe 10%, 5% will actually then flow through. Whether it's a strategy call booking, whether it's a download, whether it's looking at the reviews, whether it's actually booking or picking the phone call. It's good to track and measure at each point. If we've got a handle on our numbers, we can map it out. Scalable business. If we know our X is, I'm going to put an arbitrary number out here. If we know our X is £1,000, for example, for time, resource, and effort, made up number, we can then, and we know our conversion rate is, say, 10% at the end, and keeping the number simple, but we've got 100 leads. We generate 100 leads for £1,000, again, made up. Use a calculator, it'll give you an idea of your specific sector. And then if we convert 10%, that will give us 10 new customers. Now, the important thing that many businesses will overlook, doesn't matter whether it's B2C or B2B, is how much is that customer worth? What is the lifetime value? Do they come back and if they're a hairdresser, I'm sat on the street here with 4 hairdressers. If I'm a hairdresser, the customer might come in and get a haircut, I don't know, 10 times a year maybe. Whatever, pick a number, 10 times a year. They're not just a one-off customer sale of 10, 15, 20 pounds. They're a multiple of their visits over years. What's the lifetime value of your customer? If it's B2B and you're selling a high ticket value service, perhaps you've got consultants and it's £5,000 for a course. They might only buy it once, but it's worth £5,000. £5,000 times 10 is 50 grand. It's cost you £1,000. Get a handle on these numbers is quite difficult, but obviously the stuff that we've got us on the door. Excellent, means again. So we need to understand how much you're spending, what our key metrics are, ultimately how many of these leads are converting, and what's the lifetime value of the customer. Once we understand the lifetime value, we can then answer the question, is it worthwhile? For every £1,000 I spend, and I'm getting, if it's more than that, times 10 times, 100 times more, great, we can then start to reinvest our profit from the advertising back into the beginning. So instead of £1,000, we would then spend 10,000. So that's what we mean when we're talking about scaling a business. It's about taking your initial investment, making this whole campaign work through content, through technical, and through data intelligence to actually get a system that's working for you to actually then have that question about scalability. We've made UX, you've made yourself X, this is what we've achieved, let's spend some more because it worked. Doesn't matter if it's B2B, B2C, Facebook and Instagram ads are a really good platform to get your products and services seen by your perfect target audience. And I think in 9 minutes, that's pretty good going. I've kind of covered a full thing. So I will open it up for questions. Please do get in touch if you've got any questions. As an incentive, my lead magnet, drop me an email and I've got a free bonus gift for you. I have a top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and a bottom of the funnel document that you can use as a template. It's going to cost you a conversation with me on the phone, but it's worth it. It's got a full 3 or 4 page document that allow you to map out the middle and the funnel, middle and the bottom of the funnel for your business. Sales pitch over. Thank you. Jenny?
Thanks, Chris.
There we go. Any questions, I suppose?
Not that.
If, I suppose, just to plug Stuart, I can see Stuart's there in the chat. Stuart's following me at 5 o'clock on a different link, of course, but he will be delving into understanding the data a little bit more clearly. Oh, there is a question. Where's the question? Can you have a pixel if you have a website? Can you only have a pixel if you have a website? No, you can have pixel all installed, and if you don't have a website, sorry, just my phone there. Yeah, pixel questions. So you can have pixel installed in various locations. It doesn't have to be a website. So obviously websites can be very expensive, 5, 10, 15,000 and the rest. I would suggest if you've not got a website and website's holding you back, you can do simple tricks. One trick being set the pixel up, create the pixel, and you can use things like Shopify, you can use things like WooCommerce as other options as well. Within the business manager, if you don't want to have a website, you can run simple video ads. And what you can do actually, this off the top of my head, is if you create a video, you can show the video to your audience as an advert, and then you can retarget based on percentage of video views. Think about it. You've got a video that's a minute and somebody wants a full minute, you've kept their attention. Just, I'm amazed if people are still here after 30 minutes. That's an engaged audience. You can then show an ad to that engaged audience based on percentage of views. Hope that answers.
There's another question.
I've one. Have you had any results yet from Oven the Florist? We've just literally just started the project in the last 2 weeks, so we're literally doing the planning, building. We're in the shaping stage at the moment, Claire. So yeah, we're doing this bit at the moment before we start running the ads. But I will let you know. You know what I mean? Nice and honest. Any other questions? Oh, something doing here. Can you just add emails into Facebook to create a targeted audience? If they're GDPR compliant, Rachel, and you've done your due diligence and all that stuff, yes. So obviously don't buy dodgy data lists from anywhere. Yeah, if you've got GDPR consent to use the people's data as email list, you can then upload it into Business Manager, create as an audience, a custom audience that is, and then you can run ads straight to that list of people. But yeah, you'll need to be very considerate about your data because we don't want Facebook won't let it happen with Cambridge Analytica and debacle a couple of years ago. Anything else? Are we done? It's boiling. Yes, Rachel, you can. You can create a lookalike audience from that list as well. So once you've run so the first thing you need to do is upload it as a list, run ads to that list. Facebook will then go and verify them. The tricky part, I suppose, will be the emails themselves, because some people may have signed to your list up with a personal email, but they may have signed to your list as a business email, but they're on Facebook with a personal email. Then Facebook won't be able to send them ads to those people. Won't marry up. However, there'll be a percentage that are perfect, aligned, and then once it's run the ads to those people, it knows the real, it knows the verified, then you can create your lookalike audience based on that data. You've got 100 of me and Rachel and Tilly and whoever else on your list, great, you've shown the ad, but then you can create a lookalike audience to target a new set of people who will look very similar to me or to Rachel. That helps. Yay, well done, Rachel. I can see you've set your pixel up this morning. If you're stuck, Rachel, give Rachel a shout, or me even. Any final questions? I don't know about you, but he's absolutely sweltering and I want to grab a drink before Stuart's on at 5. No. I mean, thank you very much, everybody. Please do rejoin us for the 5 o'clock seminar webinar with Stuart Boucher from Beacon. And if you can't make it, the recordings, including this one, will be made available. And then tomorrow, tomorrow we have a quiz at 4 o'clock. Bring your own drink of choice and join us for a fun quiz. There's a music section in there and a film bit.
Music section.
Music theme, yeah.
80s music, so feel free to put on fancy dress.
80s music. Rachel says fancy dress, so yeah, let's go for it. Cool, thank you very much. Take care. Thanks, Tilly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Molly.